In my previous video discussing the first documented arrival of Filipinos in California in 1587, I mentioned the Luzones Indios who accompanied the Spanish galleon. Since its release, the video has sparked a lively discussion with viewers sharing their thoughts, insights, and questions in the comments section. In this follow-up video, I'll address some of the comments and questions I've received. I'll aim to clarify specific points, provide additional context, and delve deeper into some of the issues raised by viewers. This will be a valuable opportunity to continue the conversation, further our understanding of this critical topic. I'll also encourage you to watch the previous video if you haven't already and join me as we explore these insightful discussions. So, a viewer's insightful comment prompted a deeper dive into the origins and contributions of the Filipino sailors who participated in this historic trade. The viewer points out that Miguel Lopez de Legazpi began his campaign to conquer Luzon in 1571 with native crews from Panay. The first Spanish galleon ships were built in Tigbawan, Iloilo on the island of Panay and were manned by Ilonggo sailors. These Ilonggo sailors navigated Spanish ships across the Pacific Ocean using the Kirosho Current, which flows north of the equator, passing near the Aleutian Islands and west of Oregon and California. This underscores the significant role of Ilonggo seafaring expertise, and likely that of other Filipino ethnic groups like the Visayans and Tagalogs in the early years of Spanish colonial rule in the Philippines. Of course, I never mentioned the building of the galleons and who built them because that video focused solely on the Morro Bay historic event. But let me say this. If the arrival of Filipino sailors in California on October 18, 1587 was only the first recorded document in history, it's entirely possible that Filipinos from various ethnic groups, including the Ilonggos, had already been sailing across different parts of the globe, including the Pacific Ocean, before 1587. But let me push this even further. Now, look at this map. Anyone born and raised here, regardless of their ethnic group, whether Visayan, Ilocano, Bicolano, or any other, would inevitably become skilled in seafaring. The Philippines is an archipelago with over 7,000 islands surrounded by vast oceans. This environment naturally fosters a deep understanding of the sea and its currents. It's entirely possible that Filipino seafarers from various ethnic groups had been venturing across the Pacific long before documented arrival in California in 1587. This is a compelling area for further historical exploration. Having said all that, remember that establishing the precise ethnic and regional affiliation of the Filipinos who participated in the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade presents a significant historiographical challenge. Contemporary records, while offering valuable insights, often lack the granularity necessary for accurate ethnic identification. Terms like Indio, Filipino, and even regional designation were used broadly in the colonial era, frequently encompassing diverse indigenous groups with varying cultural and linguistic backgrounds. This inherent ambiguity in historical documentation necessitates a nuanced approach to understanding the ethnic composition of the galleon crews, requiring careful consideration of various sources, including archaeological evidence, linguistic analysis, and comparative studies with other contemporaneous accounts. That is why it would be more appropriate not to include claims not supported by robust evidence and carefully contextualize within the limitations of the available historical sources. We have to acknowledge the complexities and ambiguities inherent in historical research, mainly when dealing with issues of ethnicity and identity in the colonial context is crucial. Making definitive statements about the ethnic composition of the Filipinos involved in the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade based on limited and potentially biased sources can lead to inaccurate and misleading conclusions. Now, let me explain the meaning of Filipino, which has a rich and complex history that has evolved significantly over time. The archipelago that is now the Philippines was named La Islas Filipinas in 1543 by Spanish explorer Ruy Lopez de Villalobos in honor of King Philip II of Spain. Initially, Filipino referred specifically to Spaniards born in the Philippines. The term gradually began to encompass people of mixed Spanish and indigenous ancestry. During the Filipino Revolution, and that is the late 19th century, Filipino emerged as a unifying term for all inhabitants of the archipelago regardless of ethnicity or ancestry. This signified a growing sense of national identity. The term Filipino became central to the Filipino national identity in the 20th century. It represents a shared culture, history, and language encompassing the diverse ethnic and linguistic groups within the Philippines. So, the word Filipino has significantly evolved from a term for Spaniards born in the Philippines to a unifying term for all archipelago inhabitants. Okay. Let's move on to another comment I received saying that the Vikings were in North America about 500 years earlier. You, my friend, are correct. That is if we're not referring to Asians but the Norse explorers. Around 1000 CE, the Vikings established a settlement in Newfoundland, Canada, predating Filipino sailors' arrival in North America by several centuries. Okay, so another viewer left a fascinating comment that challenged me to dive deeper. They pointed out the striking similarity between how the Ilocano people of the Philippines refer to the sun as Apo Init, respected elder son, and the Quechua people of the Andes Mountains in South America who call it Apo Inti, respected elder son. This got me thinking, and I realized that this deserves more than just a quick reply. So, please bear with me on this topic as it can get quite complex as we delve deeper into the details. The shared use of Apo to address the sun with reverence is a significant point. In both cultures, the sun is not just a celestial body but a revered entity, often considered a deity or a powerful force. This shared reverence and similar sounding terms for sun, init, or inti raise intriguing questions about possible historical connections. But we also have to consider this. It's crucial to acknowledge the possibility of coincidence. Reverence for the sun is a common theme across many ancient cultures worldwide. Independent development of similar terms and concepts is entirely plausible. But considering our origins, the Ilocanos are an Austronesian people from Southeast Asia. While less likely, the possibility of ancient Austronesian migration reaching the Americas before the arrival of Europeans cannot be entirely dismissed. If such migrations occurred, they could have carried cultural and linguistic elements, including the concept of addressing the sun as Apo to the Americas. However, this is where I would lean more. Both the Philippines and much of South America were colonized by Spain. This period could have introduced similar concepts or terms into both regions, even if it's only those particular words. However, we must consider that Quechua is not a single language but a family of languages with significant diversity. It's spoken by millions across the Andes Mountains, including Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, Argentina, and Chile. Major dialects include Quechua 1, Central Peru, and Quechua 2, Southern Peru and Northern Bolivia, each with numerous sub-dialects, and that alone can become quite complex. And that is why I would conclude that it requires further research and perhaps even the wisdom of our viewers. If any of you have insights into the history, linguistics, or cultural traditions of the Ilocano, Quechua, or other indigenous peoples, please share your knowledge in the comments below. Let's work together to unravel this fascinating mystery. I hope this Q&A was informative and enjoyable. Thank you for your questions and for watching. If you have any further inquiries, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. See you in the next video.